It's 9:05 in the morning right now. Exactly 24 hours ago, I was in the fetal position in the shower, burning hot water running down my back and still freezing cold after I just finished a leg session, just finished a cardio session following that. Proceeded to almost pass out numerous times, barely, if at all, being able to stand on my own 2 feet without assistance for longer than a couple of minutes. Completely nauseated. And I still worked a 10-hour shift. Still did my second half of my cardio session the following night, or not the following night, later that night. And I woke up today feeling perfectly fine. Back to 100%, or at least as close to 100% as I can assume that I would be at, especially of how I felt yesterday. But the lesson behind all of it is that, as I told you guys yesterday, feelings are temporary. Everything in life is temporary. Your physique is temporary. I'm 24 now. There's going to be a certain point where I'm 70, 80, 90 years old where I'm not going to recover as fast as I do now. I'm not going to be as lean as I am now. I'm not going to be as jacked as I am now. Granted, I'm still far away from my peak, but there's going to be a point on the bell curve where, you know, things start going down. I'm gonna try to delay that as long as possible, don't get me wrong, but that's just nature. That's just how it works. Father Time is undefeated. But with that being said, everything in life is temporary. Your physique's temporary. The amount of money that you have is temporary. When you die, you don't take it with you. The relationships you have, quite honestly, I would hope that they last forever, into eternity. But the majority of them, a very select few of them, will last forever. Feelings, good and bad, are temporary. They don't last forever. Everything in life doesn't last forever. So all you can do, regardless, is to stay even keel through all of it. Simple as that. Because yesterday, I couldn't even fathom doing anything 24 hours ago. I couldn't fathom standing up. All I wanted to do was just curl up into a ball and die. Because that's how I felt. My heart was beating literally in my throat. I thought I was gonna die. I didn't know what was wrong. I felt perfectly fine the night before. And ever since I woke up yesterday, I felt absolutely terrible. And I didn't know what it was. I didn't eat anything out of the ordinary. I didn't take anything out of the ordinary. I didn't do anything out of the ordinary. Something just happened. And then that, on top of some of the other personal things that I've going on in my life, it felt like my world was crumbling in the matter of what seemed like seconds. Because I was fine the night before. Obviously that shit was still going on in my personal life, but it's like I woke up the next day and it's like, I genuinely started asking the question. I was like, why? I was like, why me? But then I immediately snapped out of it and I said, no, it's not why me. You asked for this. Not that I asked for some of these personal things going on in my life to happen to me that suck. Not that I asked for my health to fucking like do what it did yesterday. Not that I asked for those things. But what I do ask God for is strength. I ask Him for the strength to be able to put myself through the things that I need to put myself through in order to leave the impact on the world that I want to leave. And because of that, when you ask God for strength, He doesn't just give you strength. He gives you opportunities and challenges and obstacles and pieces of adversity that make you strong. If you ask God for courage, He doesn't just give you courage. He gives you opportunities for you to prove your courageousness. Whatever you ask God for, He doesn't just give you that thing. He gives you the ability to prove to yourself that you are that. And if you aren't that already, He gives you the chance to increase that ability by showcasing that part of you to the world. Because for example, one of the things that I never understand is people that say that they're trustworthy. Like, they openly say that they're trustworthy. Oh, I'm a trustworthy person. You can trust me. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. But words are cheap. Talk is cheap. It's the cheapest form of currency that we have. I don't want you to tell me that you're trustworthy. I don't want you to tell me to just trust you. I want you to be placed in an opportunity where you can showcase your trustworthiness. And if you do, and you do it once, and then you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it consistently enough, and I recognize that pattern, then I can be like, okay, you are a trustworthy person. I can trust you. But if you're just, oh, trust me, bro, trust me, bro, trust me, bro, but then your actions don't represent a trustworthy person, then I'm like, okay, well, you're full of shit. Because it all comes down to your actions aligning with the words that come out of your mouth. You can say you're courageous, but then the second that you are put in a position to prove that courage and you fucking cower, you're not. If you say that you're brave and you're placed in a position to be brave and you're not, you're a coward. Be a man of your word. And I told myself yesterday as I was struggling, I said, this is genuinely what you asked for. You asked to be strong. So he is putting you through things that will make you strong. He's placing these personal issues on your life with your family and your relationships, and he's, for whatever reason, forcing your health to deteriorate for a day just to see how you deal with it. Like, when you really think about it, it's actually crazy, but I actually understand, and I hope that you do too, because I immediately went from thinking, why me, to thank you. I said, thank you, God, for putting me in this position, because I know it's not going to kill me. Even though I felt like I was dying, I'm going to be honest, but even though I knew it wasn't going to kill me, I knew that as a result of getting through that challenge, it was going to make me stronger on the other side of it. Because like I said yesterday, as corny as the saying is, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And that is a 100% fact. If you're in business and you lose a shit ton of money, unless you go completely bankrupt and the business goes under and that business completely fails, outside of that, if you at least have $1 left to the business's name, you're not dead. So, as a result, the lessons that you learn from losing all of that money will make you stronger. If you're lifting and you fail on a squat, or you fail on a bench, or something happens, just because you failed, if it didn't kill you, you will come back stronger. Once your muscles recover from that failure, from not hitting that weight, from not hitting that certain number of reps that you wanted to, once your muscles recover from that, they will come back stronger. It may not be the next day, it may not be the next week, but eventually you will hit that weight. You will hit the reps that you want to hit. Because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I could have easily just, this is going to be a little bit of a side tangent, but I could have easily just took a bunch of medication, took a bunch of pills, took a bunch of like painkillers to subside the pain. But as psychotic as it almost sounds, I wanted it. I wanted the pain. I didn't want to, subside that feeling. Because like I said, I almost asked for it. You can't ask God for strength, and then when he gives you the opportunity to showcase your strength, you can't just put a Band-Aid over it by taking all these painkillers. Like, it makes no sense. So as a result, I let my body naturally do what it needed to do in order to fix itself. Mentally, I just forced myself to get through the day by any means necessary, and I got through the day. And as a result, I can feel like the fucking like chi, the fucking power inside of me from getting through yesterday. Some of them are going to be instantaneously. Like, I genuinely feel stronger today as a result of what I did yesterday, getting myself through that. And because I got myself through that, not only does that give me a great sense of power, but it gives my mind such a competitive advantage. Because, like I said yesterday, I know for a fact that 99.999% of my competition would not have done the things that I would have did yesterday. They still wouldn't have trained after a 10-hour shift. Hell, they probably would have called off work. They definitely wouldn't have gone through that 10-hour shift. And if they did, they still wouldn't have performed as well as I did. Is that 100% true? Maybe, maybe not. But that's my way of thinking. And it is a very beneficial way of thinking. Seeing that I'm going to do whatever it takes. And having that sense of I'm doing the things that no one else is willing to do, and that's why I'm going to be in a position that they could only dream of being. I'm going to win eternally. Granted, I still don't feel the greatest today, but even though I don't feel great today, I feel significantly better than yesterday. So as a result, I have nothing to complain about. And quite honestly, for the foreseeable future, any time that I don't feel as good as I could when I wake up in the morning, my mind is immediately going to be like, at least you don't feel like that one day. And I'm going to be like, yep, you're right. Let's get to work. It's very simple. You get to extract all these lessons from your life that you could just look back on and compare to yourself, because comparing to other people is pointless, but comparing yourself to other people in certain senses is pointless, but competing against other people is important. But when you compare only to yourself, it's extremely powerful, because I could be like, yeah, I still really don't feel that good today. I'm just gonna take it easy, and I'm just gonna do like a deload week and change everything up, and one cheat meal is not gonna hurt because I really don't feel good and I want that little bit of dopamine, and I really don't have to do cardio because I threw up 4 times yesterday, so that kind of counts as cardio. I'll lose weight anyway. Like all these little tricks that your mind tries to play on you. But at the end of the day, I compared myself to the version of myself yesterday, and I said, no. I said, you feel in perspective to how you felt 24 hours ago, you feel a million times better. So as a result, if you don't do the things that you need to do today, and you change your plan just because you don't feel your absolute best, then you're a bitch. And I'm talking to myself. If you don't do the things that you need to do just because you don't feel perfect and you don't feel up to it, then you're a pussy. Because there's guys out there like me and plenty of others that they don't care. They have a switch in their mind that when it comes to doing the things that they need to do and doing what is required in order to achieve their goals, they have a switch in their brain that turns off their emotions. And when they enter that thing that they do that moves the needle closer to their goals, they turn off the emotions in their mind. They say, I don't care how I feel, I'm just going to do it. Might not be the most optimal, it may not be the most healthy, because I'm pushing myself and I'm sacrificing sleep and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm consuming this. But so what? 100 years as a sheep or 70 years as a lion? You choose.
Gelo no copo, piscando a fachada. Gatinha rebola na vibe acelerada. No Prada, no Prada, no vibe acelerada. Gatinha rebola na vibe acelerada. No Prada, no Prada, no vibe acelerada. Gatinha rebola na vibe acelerada. Final de semana vai ter baile na quebrada. O som no carro e essa galera animada. Gelo no copo, esquenta a fachada. Gatinha rebola na vai do Prada, no Prada, no vibe acelerada.
All right, significant time has passed. I'm on my way home now, and I got to the main road where I usually take to go home, which is about 10-15 minutes out from my house. Now, there is a like alcohol check, like a you guys know what I'm talking about, like a DUI check, something like that. Basically where the cops stop and like they stop every single person and like, you know, check them basically. I don't know if that's common, but it's common here. And I just pulled a fucking Yui and just went the opposite direction. Not because I've been drinking, because I haven't, obviously, but the reason is because time is money. You guys have to start seeing time as money. And you have to start equating the time that you spend and how you spend your time to making more money. Or just honestly, not even money, just progressing in life. Because so many people, they love to use the excuse for why they're not the place that they want to be, or why they don't have the physique they have, or why they're not making the money that they want to make. It's because, oh, I don't have time to start the business. I don't have time to train. I don't have time to cook my meals and eat clean. And it's because you don't see your time as freedom. Honestly, that's a good way to put it. Time is freedom. Because it gives you more freedom to be able to do the things that you need to do to get to the places that you want to go. Because for a lot of us, we're not in the place that we want to be. We don't have the time freedom to do whatever we want. We don't have the location freedom to go wherever we want because we don't have the time freedom. And that honestly derives from not having the financial freedom, which is why time is money. And the reason that I pulled the Yui is because I'm taking the quote unquote long way home, and it's going to take me an extra probably 5 minutes to get home if there wasn't this like checkpoint. And you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Well, it actually does, because there was 30 cars in front of me, roughly, give or take. I would say minimum 30, maximum probably 40, 50, something like that, in front of me, because it was a very long straight road and I could see every single one of them ahead of me. And you got to figure at these checkpoints, even if it just takes like 1-2 minutes a piece, as many cars that were in front of me, it would take me an extra half hour, 45 minutes to get home, even though it's the fastest route home. Taking this extra 10 minutes or however long it takes to get back to my house by taking the long way, I'm saving myself at least minimum 30 minutes, which that 30 minutes can be allocated to cooking. That 30 minutes could be allocated to working. That 30 minutes could be allocated towards cardio. Whatever it is in my life or your life that you currently feel like you want to progress in, but you just don't have the time to do it, think of ways in your life. It doesn't even have to be an example like this, because this is it's kind of like a one-off occurrence because it doesn't happen that often. But think of daily things that happen in your life where you can shave down little bits of time here and there to save yourself more time so that you can allocate that time to actually getting the shit done that you want to get done, so that you can get closer to the man that you want to be and the person that you want to become and accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. So, for example, when you're working on your laptop, you're working on your side hustle, your business, whatever it might be, completely eliminate any type of distractions, because I promise you, none of you are fully focused when it comes to work. blatant fact. I guarantee you none of you are. If you are, then more than likely, if you've been doing this long enough, you are at the place that you want to be, or at least on the right path to get there and making significant strides towards it. Because people don't realize how distracting, like, task switching and like just picking up your phone for a couple of minutes is on your productivity when working. Because genuinely think about this. I'm going to say to you a blatant fact that I saw from a study. Picking up your phone and responding to a message for 30 seconds, because let's say you get a text message, you pick your phone up, you read the text message, you respond, and then you put the phone back down. 30 seconds max, right? No harm, no foul. Nope. That little thing, that little distraction right there, and then you go back to working on your computer. If you're doing creative work, if you're doing like some type of mentally demanding work, guess how long it takes you to get back to that level of focus that you were at before you checked your phone? 18 minutes minimum. 18 minutes of work. I don't know about you, I can do a lot in 18 minutes. That kind of sounded sexual, but you know what I mean. I can do a lot in 18 minutes, work-wise. I can edit a shit ton. I can get a lot done. I could type up a message. I could, like, for one of my clients, I could do a lot in 18 minutes. Just by picking up your phone and responding to one message or one email or one Snapchat or, like, it doesn't matter what it is. Just by the action of picking up your phone to check something and then putting it back down, it takes your mind out of that zone, and it takes you 18 minutes to get back on task, or at least back to at least the level of focus that you were at before you checked your phone. Not even to mention that if you were not to, your level of focus is going to increase progressively as you continue to stay fully locked in on the task. So completely eliminate distractions when you're doing any type of work. When you're working out, it's the exact same thing. The best workouts that I've ever had in my life, quite honestly, I barely remember them because of how locked in I was and how fully focused I was. Like, genuinely, like, if you've ever been to this point, you'll understand what I'm saying. But have you ever been in like a sports game or like a lift or like working on a task or something, and you just get into that flow state to the point where you just black out? That's how I am in every single training session. And it's because I do not touch any of my devices when it comes to my training sessions. Yeah, I move the camera around, but I have the camera app pulled up on my phone, and it stays up on my phone, and I just move the camera around. And then I have my computer down there, but I have it on the opposite side of my basement gym, and I have a playlist going that just keeps going. It doesn't stop. There's no ads, there's nothing. I don't even have to go over there. I already have the plan. I already have the weights that I selected because I'm going up like 2.5 pounds or I'm doing an extra rep or something. I already know what the workout is before I go into it. I already know the sets. I already know the reps. I already know the exercises. I already know what I have to do. Now all I have to do is just go execute it. So what the fuck do you need your device for? What are you scrolling Instagram in between sets for? What are you checking messages in between your sets for? You only work out. Realistically, you should only be working out 45 minutes, like lifting. I'm talking about lifting, out cardio aside. You should realistically only be lifting 45 minutes to max, I'm talking maximum, an hour and a half per day lifting. If you're doing anything more than an hour and a half, you're either doing a shit ton of junk volume and you're not going to failure and you're not training hard enough, or you're taking too long of rest times and you need to shorten the rest times. So with that being said, you're only working out for that small amount of time during the day, and you have all the other waking hours to respond to messages. So why are you on your phone at all in the gym? It makes no sense to me. And it's the same thing with work. Unless you're like me and you work every single waking hour of the day, then you have no point in checking your phone. Even I don't check my phone. People will tell you, I'm very bad at responding to messages. I'm very bad, unless it is my closest friend, the group chat I'm in with my business partners, or somebody who is extremely, extremely close to me in my inner circle, which is a very small amount of people, by the way, unless it's those three subsect of people, which I grant access to because my phone is on Do Not Disturb all day long, unless it's those three subsect of people that I grant access to bypass the Do Not Disturb, I get no messages at all. And I genuinely think that that's how it should be for every single one of you. Because being distracted, these social media platforms, as great as they are and as opportunistic as they are to not only give out value to the world, but provide yourself with a life that you want to live, as opportunistic as they are the most addictive and distracting things that we have on this planet. So if you can learn how to manipulate them and use them to your advantage and not let them be a distractor to you, then they're a waste. They're the most pointless thing on the planet. But if you use them to your advantage, then they could be, and quite honestly will be, in the coming years, the most beneficial thing that you have at your disposal, a tool in your arsenal. So eliminate distractions, see time as money, and I promise you, you will get more shit done than 99% of people do in a week in one singular day. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.